Chapter 4, Wedding Night. Su Wan Ci didn't want to deceive him. Marrying a stranger in haste, she did use him as a shield, indeed. Sorry, she spoke softly. Lyu Yu didn't say anything, leaning back in his chair, his deep and profound gaze fixed on Su Wan Ci. After a few seconds, Su Wan Ci asked him, "And what about you? Why did you agree to marry me?" Between her and him, up until today, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say they were complete strangers. Lyu Yu raised an eyebrow, a slightly mischievous glint in his eyes. "Wanted to sleep with you." Su Wan Ci. Truly deserving of his reputation as the notorious playboy of Xiang City, he didn't even bother to hide his intentions, stating it so brazenly. Lyu Yu seemed to have guessed what she was thinking. He admitted it quite openly. Even to the point that he didn't bother finding an excuse to cover it up. "Su Wan Ci, I told you at the cafe, marrying me would definitely not be just for show," he said. Su Wan Ci sipped her soup, using the motion to avoid his scorching gaze. She understood the purpose behind his emphasis on that statement. Alone together, in the late hours of the night, one could only wonder what would happen next. She wasn't an ignorant and innocent girl who didn't understand anything. Lyu Yu patiently waited for her to finish the soup. Once she put down the spoon, he asked her, "Are you full?" Su Wan Ci's composure had returned to her face. This was the path she had chosen for herself. No matter what happened, she would accept it. As long as it wasn't Fu Jing Zhou, anyone else was acceptable. She didn't act coy. Meeting Lyu Yu's gaze head-on, "Yes, I'm full." Almost the moment those words left her lips, the man sitting upright in his chair suddenly stood up. He pulled her up, pressing her against the ornate railing of a wine cabinet behind her, and a scorching kiss descended upon her. The sensation of oppression and intense suffocation caused Su Wan Ci to clench her fists in an instant. Even though she had mentally prepared herself long ago, when it came down to this step, she still felt weak-willed. As Lyu Yu's large, hot hand slid down her waistline, Su Wan Ci suppressed her unease, avoiding his kiss, and reminded him, wait a moment, I haven't taken a bath yet." Lyu Yu's eyes were as dark and deep as an abyss, pitch black and mysterious. Hearing her words, he halted his hand on her delicate waist. Pinching the softness in his hand, a casual smile played on his lips. His other hand moved down along her exquisite earlobe, skimming over her ear and flicking the tassel of her earring. "Should you go first? Or should we go together?" Lyu Yu inquired. Su Wan Ci pressed her slightly swollen and hot lips together. "I'll go first." Lyu Yu readily acquiesced, releasing her. Suddenly, he became very agreeable. He led her to the master bedroom on the second floor, opened the bathroom door, and tilted his chin toward it. "Go ahead." He leaned against the wall, hands in his pockets. Seeing that he seemed to intend to watch her bathe right here, Su Wan Ci's calmness wavered. She turned to look at him. "Aren't you going to bathe?" A playful smile tugged at the corner of Lyu Yu's lips, deliberately misinterpreting her. "Don't you want to bathe together?" With that, he leaned in closer to her. "What's wrong? Changed your mind again?" Su Wan Ci. She was straightforward. "Why don't you go wash in another room?" It was still better than him staring at her up close while she bathed. The corners of Lyu Yu's eyes twitched slightly as he chuckled. "Got it." Su Wan Ci was puzzled. "What do you understand?" Lyu Yu pulled her close, kissed her lips, and then replied, "On our wedding night, when the wife can't wait, she invites the husband to dream together. How can the husband refuse?" Su Wan Ci. Ignoring her somewhat annoyed look, Lyu Yu let her go and turned to leave. "Indeed. It's more time-saving for us to shower together." At the doorway, he stopped deliberately, turning back to look at her and added, "Wife, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Su Wan Ci. After Lyu Yu left the room, Su Wan Ci slammed the bathroom door shut and turned on the shower. Unbeknownst to Su Wan Ci, after Lyu Yu's earlier teasing, Much of the nervousness she felt had subsided. Lyu Yu was very punctual. He returned exactly in 20 minutes, pushing open the door to the master bedroom. Another 10 minutes passed, and the bathroom door swung open. There were no pajamas inside. Due to Fu Jing Zhou's interruption earlier in the evening, she hadn't had a chance to organize anything. The Hua Ting manor also didn't have any clothes that fit her. After her shower, she came out in a clean bathrobe. Lyu Yu sat on the edge of the bed, watching her as she approached step by step. As she got closer, he grabbed her wrist, pulled her onto the bed, and leaned over her. A flurry of kisses fell on her like raindrops. Lyu Yu held her waist tightly with one hand and rested the other on the bathrobe's belt. "Has Fu Jing Zhou touched you?" he asked. Su Wan Ci's long eyelashes fluttered unexpectedly. Without opening her eyes, she shook her head gently. As Lyu Yu undid the bathrobe's belt, the temperature in the room gradually rose. However, just as things were heating up, Lyu Yu's phone on the bedside table suddenly started ringing insistently. Incoming calls and WeChat messages came one after another. Lyu Yu didn't initially intend to pay attention, but the person on the other end was patient, and the ringing continued incessantly. Lyu Yu released Su Wan Ci and reached for his phone, glancing at the most recent message. It was a few friends teasing him to go out for drinks. His fingers moved, typing a quick response, "Get lost. It's my wedding night tonight." After sending the message, he powered off his phone. Su Wan Ci barely had time to react before Lyu Yu sealed her lips with his own. The once snow-white skin was marked with one imprint after another. In a daze, she seemed to hear the sound of Wan Wan. Su Wan Ci's eyelashes twitched, and her long lashes trembled slightly. But she couldn't muster the strength to open her eyes. Her waist, which had grown tender and soft, was scooped up by the man and held against his chest. Lyu Yu held her in his arms, his hand supporting his head. "Wan Wan, how about we make our marriage public?" Su Wan Ci couldn't quite catch his words, and in her half-conscious state, she mumbled a response before drifting off into a deep sleep.